the beginning of summer, so that's not like this all just happened in the last 2 days. This has been over the period of several months.
None of that.
So we probably have at least 5 other farmers in town. So if they want to do this, we approve one, we have to approve them all.
I would like to add something to this. This is not something that's cost prohibitive. This is something that I'm willing to do on my own. Farmers have what they call national crop insurance. So if the crop drops in yield, they're going to be compensated for it. In fact, I would be too. But I'm willing to do this as part of the long-term study to see the benefits of this, and that's my desire to do it. It's not going to be cost prohibitive to me to do this at this time, but it's something I want to invest in to get the data for.
We're pretty much in a drought position right now to be giving this much water out. I've had a lot of calls and I haven't had nothing that's positive about it, to be honest, so.
I've got some positive for you. I think right now, I believe that doing this, we are going to attain information that we will be able to share with other people on, I believe in the future, we're going to see areas of the country that are no longer going to be able to sustain agricultural practices. We're going to have to raise more in this area here. And by smartly doing this in a sustainable way, this could become a way to do this in the future as long as we do it right. And the little bit of information we can gather today may inspire others to do similar studies in the future.
Travis, do you see a strain on him doing this?
I do not.
Okay.
Come
The
up,
wells are running.
Travis. Come up to the microphone, sorry.
Gotcha. No, right now, for as long as I talked to him earlier, and I think what we'd like, if you guys do approve it, I'd like him to only want to run here, one irrigation system at a time, not multiple units. I don't see any issue with that as long as we're not overloading.
We have two kind of sprinklers, I'm going to call them, and they could both go on the same hydrant. One's a really small one, and so if we could run both of them, we have them both, it wouldn't use that much more together is what I guess I would say. They're not two huge systems. If somebody's seen two of them running out there, I'd like to request that we could run two of them at the same time. One's like a football field sprinkler, another one's a larger one.
Okay.
Oh, but you're not running the ones at Monsanto at the same time as the one on Bland Boulevard, I think is Travis's concern.
They are the same ones.
He has to move them off of Monsanto grounds to do it, so he won't be doing multiple fields at the same time.
So we are currently using two of them right now, and again, when I look at water and water, to me, we're already doing this. So if we just keep doing what we're already doing, that's my request.
Right, and so everybody's clear, it's the same water, it's still coming through our wells, that part does not change. It's the standard rate that we're charging everybody else, so there's not a break on volume, there's not a break on where he gets it from. It's a matter of, he's using a lot of water, but it's at the standard rate.
Well, I thought it was interesting, what you're trying to take a look at is when you put fertilizer on, if there's no moisture, it just sits there. And so one, it's not helping the crop that you're trying to grow because it's not being absorbed. Second, as it sits there, it eventually can leach down into the streams and even the groundwater, so that it's advantage to you and to us that whatever fertilizer gets put on that soil gets used. And right now is probably a good year to try it because everybody I've talked with, the ears are not developing very well. Even though the corn looks great, the ears aren't developing the way they should. So if you do this and it helps with that development, then I think, like you said, in southwest Wisconsin, this irrigation is quite common because of the sandy soil up in that part. So, you may end up farmers having to drill wells and do more irrigation than we've done in the past, just because times are changing. And
I believe the practice will become more sustainable, where we'll see all this fertilizer that we have to apply to raise these crops to feed the world. If we have years like this year where we don't have the moisture, following spring when we do get big rains, all that fertilizer will still be there. And that fertilizer will end up in our water, it will end up in the Mississippi, and it will end up in the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico. But through these practices and management techniques, we can get that fertility put into those plants, be able to harvest it, and actually feed people with it rather than end up killing fish or killing our environment with it. And so I believe it's a practice that will become mainstream within my lifetime. And I think it all starts right here with proving some of this research.
And for now, you're just talking about another 2 or 3 weeks this year, and then we can address this next spring on whether or not to continue. And I think one of the problems is that you're farming possibly within city limits or close to it, and so we probably have to change and give you I don't want to say
variance, I believe.
dispensation, a variance to be able to drill your own well if you want to continue this on a really heavy scale.
Yes, sir.
And I think that would be most beneficial to your program, too.
I think so, long-term, this is just, we just want to get some information. We just got to get some data. We are not applying the volume of gallon that we talked about. It's 27,000 gallons of water per acre to put 1 inch of rainwater on an acre, and that adds up a lot. We aren't trying to do hundreds of acres of this. We're just talking about, around the edges. We don't want to destroy crop to try to do this. We just want to kind of keep track of it. As we harvest this crop this fall, we'll have the data in the yield monitors on the combines. It'll be very easy to attain this data based off of patterns of spray that we're putting out there. It's kind of crude, very simple, but I'm willing to invest the time, the resources into it and purchase this. This is not free from the city. This is something that will be revenue to the city.
Well, and like we talked about, probably if you're going to do this for a long term, you're not going to want to fluoridate your crops too long.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yeah, it will be a toxin to the crop over a long period of time. Yes, sir.
Does this take 3 readings?
No, this is just a request to do it. It is, to be blunt, it's a yes or no. We're going to give him permission to tap into the city's service to do this for the remainder of this year.
So it gives no time for taxpayers to weigh in on this, basically.
Well, this is between Mr. Henderson and, quite honestly, the city council, that's you folks. So,
I'd make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
I do have a motion and a second to approve the request for water from Mr. Alec Henderson. I could like a roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
No.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Because all the negative calls I've had,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
Thank you very much,
Thank
ladies and
you.
gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Mr. Henderson, as you go through this, just coordinate it with Travis so we can keep on top of that.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And we do appreciate you coming to explain what you're doing. I think that helps more than anything when people don't understand it's temporary and what you're trying to accomplish.
And if there's, if they think it would help to have some kind of signage out there to help, convey the message of the constituents, I'd be happy to work with the city to do something if that's something that you guys have interest in. I believe it's probably communication. So as constituents may call, we probably just need to educate them.
Well, there's 2 good communicators right there, Steve and the Bulletin Journal lady. So.
Great. Hope you guys took good notes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Down under hearings and ordinances, need to set a public hearing to amend Chapter 35 of the Fire Department, so I need a motion to set the public hearing for August 23rd, 2021 at 6:30 PM in order to amend this chapter.
So moved. Second.
I do have a motion and a second. May I have, do you want a roll call on this? Don't need one? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same. Motion is carried.
Do we have the ability to, and probably with explaining this is the fire department came to us, and this allows public or city employees to work beyond the volunteer fire department?
Yeah, by virtue of the department going from a pay-per-call department to a volunteer call, or volunteer department, it opens the door for city employees then to be on the volunteer department. We can't distinguish within the department between a pay-per-call and a volunteer. It's one designation or the other, and this simply, at their request, changes it to a volunteer fire department.
Can I make a motion to waive the second, go to the third reading?
Not
Next,
until-
at the next
not
meeting,
When we have this on the agenda next meeting,
Okay.
yes.
yeah.
The sooner we get this done, the sooner we get some city employees that want to be back on the fire department.
Yep. Next on the agenda is a motion to set a public hearing for August 23rd, 2021 at 6:30 PM to amend city codes affected by the 2021 legislative changes.
Second.
Do you have a motion and a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We're down to resolutions. First one being motion to approve a resolution that approves the street covenants for Larson Lane.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Sharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is a motion to approve a resolution of necessity to establish the boundaries of the City of Independence. I have trouble. Facade, thank you. Facade improvements project area by identifying the district bound by the Independence Facade Project as shown in Exhibit A. It's a mouthful.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any other discussion on this one? May I have a roll call, please?
Hill?
Yes.
Sharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is a motion to approve the engineering agreement with Crawford Engineering for the 2022 street rehab project.
So moved.
Second.
I just had one question. Is this we had last meeting in the Public Works, we kind of had a discussion, is this the fifth year of our,
This,
next summer's the fifth year of our current 5-year?
correct. And that's, I apologize to Mark, at that meeting, I wasn't sure. We went back and verified. This is actually funded in our 2021 bond issue, so it is in there, and that was my mistake, so.
Okay.
This is the fifth year.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Sharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is a motion to approve a wage resolution for the airport manager.
This, I wanted to clarify for the council, first of all, this is based on a conversation that we had with the proposed individual. We have not been through our pre-employment process yet, but in that discussion, the wage did become a topic, and what we did was match the street foreman wage. It is a department head level position performing a fairly autonomous set of duties out there at the airport, so this would be consistent with the foreman's position.
So moved.
Second.
Is this person going to have experience to move the pay scale up?
Performance in, well, both of our candidates that we interviewed had very strong maintenance performance or experience. As far as the duties out there, yes. As far as specific airport experience, no. And that was something we did discuss at length. It would be the same with both of our candidates. So from that standpoint, there is a learning curve there. But as far as the maintenance and the, call it the groundskeeping, snow removal, what have you, very much so.
Wasn't the vote anonymous for all of them to vote?
It was.
This seems like quite a jump from the previous.
Yes.
We're not going to have to call somebody every time a light bulb needs changed.
May I have a roll call, please?
O'Laughlin,
No.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Down to other business. The fiscal year 2021 outstanding debt obligation report is in your packet or in here, and this part is just for discussion or information for you. There's no motion that needs to be made. Is there any discussion or questions?
I did notice there's a couple of these that are just about ready to fall off, which would be outstanding.
And that's part of the way we've structured our debt, if you will, and moving forward with our debt plan. It'd be nice to get a couple of those off.
Yes.
The debt structure is workable, but I'd like to see us take a year off of borrowing to bring the levy down a little bit. I'm getting a lot of complaints from young homeowners in my areas that property taxes are nearly excessive.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Well, and we have the Public Works, we did talk about that after this next summer, which is the 5-year, we take a year and just reassess what we're working on and, kind of take a year and decide where we're headed and what we're doing. So kind of like you're saying, take a breather, but that'd be the summer of 23? Yep, so we
That
have,
way 150's done and
yeah,
everything.
yep. But we
Okay.
still do want another 5-year or 3-year program because we got a lot of streets and things that we just can't pull the plug on working on. So wanted to add that.
Well, that could be a new council deciding that too.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay, moving on. Next item is a home occupation application from Samantha Hardy to do Studio 811.
Planning and zoning approved this, right?
Yes,
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? A roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is a home occupation application from Daniel Shannon for Denny's Pumpkin Patch. Did he move or?
Yes.
He's going to be
Okay.
moving, yes.
Which is why we have a different application.
Planning and zoning approved this too. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Do have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is a 2021-22 City of Independence supplemental agreement with the Iowa DOT patching and snow removal.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
Is this about the same we've done every year?
No, this is changing the existing agreement. They would like to give us more money.
Let's take second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion's carried. Can't imagine why it wouldn't. Okay. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve Bolton Mink addendum number 1 for the 2018 airport taxiway project.
FAA is paying 100%.
That's correct. This project was 100% funded by FAA, so it's a pass-through from the city to the engineer for the work.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion as second. May I have a roll call, please?
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Now we're down to a motion to approve a purchase of a Ditch Witch HX30 vacuum excavation system and necessary supplies for $59,250.
Travis, what
Good job
is this
getting
just to clean up storm drains?
I think I know where dentures.
This is used for multiple reasons for our water valves in town. A vast majority, no, sorry. A majority of the water valves have sand and stuff on them, so there's been times that we've tried to get onto our valves, we can't even get on to shut them off. So this would be used for that. It could be used for sewer. It's got an attachable arm that'll go down into the sewers to help clean the sewers out. It also has, it can be used as a hydrovac, so if we're trying to find utilities or something that you don't want to use an excavator for because you're afraid of hitting underground utilities, you'll be able to use the power washer and then vac on top of it. And those are just some reasons for our departments, and the street for storm sewer would be very beneficial to clean out all those storm intakes. They'd be able to use it for that as well.
And the person that did this is going to retire, is that right?
What's that?
Didn't you tell us that there was a guy that's
No,
going to
that's the
retire?
next one. That's the valve exercise.
On this one, we have not had it. We've had to contract this service when we need it, or I think, does Indytel have one?
Yes, Indytel has one.
If we can find it when they're not using it. But we are moving things around in the CIP. We've moved things back to make room for these next couple of items. So there's already funding in the CIP. We will spend less than was originally budgeted, but
with
moving this
building-
forward, this is more necessary than,
With building prices so high, I couldn't justify wanting to spend the money on a building right now. And it's been, now I've been in the position long enough, I just find that we have more needs. And so I just wanted to move things around. And
Well, and you explained that you'd be able to use this in tandem with the new valve exerciser that's next.
correct, so if there's
Next
any,
one on the
there's any
list,
sand, water, anything in the water valves, when we go to exercise it, we'd be able to pull that trailer right with, clean them out, so you're not exercising valves in a gritty, sandy.
So in the long run, we should save some money.
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve the purchase of the Ditch Witch vacuum.
I'd second.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the purchase of a WOX ERV 750 high-stack automated valve operator and necessary supplies for $34,420.
So moved.
Second.
this is the equipment that would replace the contractor that retired this year, so.
This is gonna work well with our new system that we have with the automated process where we can actually schedule all these things too.
That's correct. This will fit into our GIS mapping and work order system. We can track what we've exercised, where we've exercised, which ones are working, which ones aren't. But we can track that ourselves in the new mapping system.
Again, it should save us some money, right?
In the long run, yes, and we have it more than just a week out of the year.
What's he ballpark charge a year to do the valve work?
I believe it was between 3,000 and 4,000. So 10 years you'd have a payback, and that's just for one week out of the year is what we have him. So this would be able to, if we have valve shutdowns or water shutdowns coming up, we'd be able to exercise valves. And more than just a quarter of the town or part of the town, we'd be able to do, I mean, much as we got time to do.
Sure.
So.
May I have a roll call, please?
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve necessary operating system upgrades at the Lovers Lane Lift Station for $47,171.
This is so we don't have to order on Amazon from China. I'd make the motion.
I second it.
Do we want to explain that, or is the public going to understand that comment?
That's a good idea.
The electronic system that is in the lift station to use, we're no longer be able to get the parts, the cards and stuff, so if we were to have an electrical issue in there, go down, I mean, we're running out of opportunities or ways to get these cards. So we've upgraded most of the wastewater plant, but unfortunately in our last project, these cards went obsolete about the same time as we were planning our upgrade, so I just feel it's important. That main lift station runs all the sewer, water in town, so I think it's necessary to upgrade it to,
And the last set you ordered came from China, didn't it?
yes,
And if that shut down, it would be a big problem.
yes.
Like to be moved.
Okay.
In all of these, the money's already there in the
That's correct.
CIP, right?
That's correct. These are all funded.
Roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Callahan,
Yes,
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Last in this area here is a motion to approve the purchase of a generator set an ATS for well number 7 for $39,480.
This is the well in the northwest part of town. We have a generator in the northeast. The next highest producing well for us is in the northwest, where this generator is proposed to go. This is in our CIP.
Is this in the park? This well?
Yes. We would now have a well or a generator on each half of the river.
Okay.
So each half of town would have a generator to run in case of a major event.
Oh, sure.
So the purpose for this is if the electricity goes out, we can still have water on both sides of town?
Right.
And this would take care of the southwest also. in
Yes,
the
the whole
event.
system's loop, but this would just, there'd be one on each side of the river, each half of town.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
yes,
Callahan,
Yes,
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. You did good tonight.
Thank you.
Should be happy.
You can't come before us for a while now.
I don't plan on it.
It's not like this is your favorite thing to do, to come here, is it?
I like to talk, I'm not very good about speaking in public, so.
Thank you. We are down to reports, and I would kind of like to start because there was a couple of meetings out at the hospital last week on Thursday night or Friday morning for our new ambulance service that'll be coming to town for October 15th. The area ambulance is ending their service with us, and the new company is coming in. And they explained that they're looking for full-time and part-time employees. They have a pretty good benefit package and wage package and stuff. So is this on our website yet for people to be able to know how to get a hold of them, or?
We have not put this on our website. If anybody has an interest, they can call up here to City Hall or out to the hospital, and we will put them in touch with the appropriate people. I know that we've had some of our volunteer firefighters express interest. There is some interest, but again, a pretty decent package in particular for part-time, but I know they're looking for part-time and full-time EMTs and paramedics.
do you know, did we keep some of the same ones that were?
That's not between us, that would be between AMR and those folks, and I'm not sure who's talked to them and who hasn't. I would hope that some of them would like to stay serving the community in that capacity and would make that transition, but that's not between us. We encourage, in particular, the part-time people. We know that the part-time help make it work, And so if anybody has any interest at all, we'll put you in touch with them so you can find out what works.
AMR is a company that the county, the city, and the hospital have gone together to hire to provide our ambulance service. The hospital will be providing sleeping areas for them at the hospital. They'll have an ambulance here 24/7.
Two, won't they?
One ambulance 24/7 with a backup whenever they need it for, depending on cases of that degree. This company is actually in other states. It's a good-sized company, but we are going to be following pretty close to the program they have in Charles City. Ours will be very similar to that. But since it is new, I feel that we as city need to encourage people to let them, hopefully they find the employees and qualified people to help do this. So that's a big reason I wanted to bring it up tonight, to put that out to the public, so.
Do we know, is this a 3-year or a 5-year contract?
This is a 5-year agreement.
One of the things is the city, the county, and the hospital have all made a financial commitment to this to
Correct.
continue ambulance service within the area. And it's up to us to try and make this thing work, and hopefully we can get some really good employees again like we've had with Area Ambulance and continue the service they provided.
Yep.
It's roughly $140,000 a year per each of the 3 municipalities, isn't it? I think when I calculated out what they,
It'll be in that ballpark. There is an escalator in there as well.
Right.
But I think it's
More
right.
than that, isn't it, Al?
Well, I'm trying to remember, because our first year is, the hospital is picking up the lion's share of the first year because
Right.
of our budget. And we have to make up for it the second year. So when you start balancing it out, I got to go back and remember the
Isn't
numbers.
just a
but it's-
year, pretty roughly 600,000 for the 3 of us?
No, I think it's closer to 400,000 on the 5-year contract
Per year,
per year.
yeah.
But again, it's split between the 3 parties. The one thing that may help us out is if there is an interest in the county to look at the new essential function designation for EMS service. It could be laid out there as a county-wide levy as opposed to each entity doing our own levy and then paying into the partnership or into the 28E board. Both work, but I think it spreads it out a little bit more equitably if they do it through the EMS designation, through the EMS levy.
Okay, continuing on reports. Brian, do you have anything for the police department?
Just to bring you guys up to speed, I know I had brought it up in our Public Safety Committee meeting, but wasn't able to announce who it was, but we recently have offered an individual a job for the full-time police officer position. After the council passed the $5,000 sign-on bonus, last council meeting, I had this gentleman approach me. You guys probably know Tristan Dilly. He's been on the ambulance crew. He's a certified officer for the city of Jessup right now. He reached out, he's went through the process, he's been offered the position, and so we're looking to have him sworn in on the next council meeting on the 23rd.
that's great, that's wonderful.
A little bit of relief for our department being short-staffed.
Where he's already certified, how quickly do you think we can put him in line?
He's already certified, he graduated the academy in May, he's a longtime resident of Independence, he's been on the ambulance crew, so he knows the town, he knows how to get to addresses in town. He uses the same reporting system at the Jessup Police Department, so it's gonna basically come down to our policies and procedures and different forms that we use for different things outside of that. I'm hopeful that we can have, within 3 weeks, have him fully trained and off FTO and on his own.
Wow.
So
Short amount of time on field
yes.
training and go.
Not only is he certified, but he's from the area, so a lot of the stuff that we'd have to spend more time with somebody else that we got, we're not gonna have to spend all that time, because like I said, he's already been here in the emergency services for the hospital and as an EMT, so I look forward to that being a quick process.
Yeah.
That's great.
Don't you have a cupcake with cops coming up too?
Yes, we do.
I didn't know if you wanted to make them. Let the children know that.
Yeah, we had
Kids
posted
know
that out there on August 24th, so it's gonna be that that day after we have our next council meeting. Matter of fact, we're gonna have that, over at First Ward Park, right by the courthouse. And I wanna say it's like from 4 to 7, there's like a 3-hour window, but we did post it out on our Facebook page, so that way people know. And this is something that we did 2 years ago, prior to that year of COVID, so we're hoping for a pretty good turnout.
I think it's a good thing for the kids to look at officers as not a scary thing, and
Absolutely.
I think police officers need a lot of good, positive situations. There's been too much negative, so
Yep.
I'm glad you're doing it.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for everything you're doing as you fill in, too. You're doing a good job.
Anything from the fire department back there, or is there even anybody back there anymore? Do you have anything that you can think of? No. Okay. Usually don't, but I want to give you the chance. Anything, city clerk? City manager?
I'll let Mark go here. He's got something to share with you on an update.
Holy cow, Mark's speaking. Where's Brian?
Thank you.
He's here alone,
He's
too.
off tonight.
Okay.
Just a couple things I wanted to update you on real quick since our committee of the whole meeting. The 2021 street rehab project started last week. Some of you have probably seen that. They completed removal and replacement of some curb and gutter on 6th Avenue Southeast. And today they started working on 8th Avenue Southwest. The curb and gutter is removed and the east side of the 100 block has been replaced. So they'll be continuing to work on that this week. The intake contractor's coming in tomorrow to adjust some intakes. But they'll be finishing up the concrete work here this week and into next week. The schedule for the asphalt is a little bit up in the air right now, so as soon as I have that, I'll pass it along. Also, the downtown sidewalk replacement project, we marked out the removals today, and they anticipate coming in this week to start that north block. It would be the Hardig Drug to Bank Iowa block to start that removal and replacement. So those are the only new things since our last meeting.
I'm
Any
Get
questions?
a lot of requests for when are they gonna start on the 6th Avenue Trail?
6th Avenue Trail, we had our pre-construction meeting last week and got a schedule from the contractor. I believe they said it would be after Labor Day. They'd be starting that. We went out and met with them on the site, took a look at a few things. But yeah, they'll be ready to go in about a month.
Good. Do we have everything squared away with David at the top?
We have an easement. We have not heard from David. We have heard that there might be a desire to have a change in the fencing across the top of the retaining wall. But until I hear from David, I'm not sure what that looks like. We do have a fence, because it's required. We have a fence scheduled to put in there. We did mention to the contractor that we're still trying to figure out if that changes or not, but at this point, again, the easement is there, and we do have to get started if we're gonna put it in this fall.
That's right.
And that fence debate will not affect the trail installation at all. It's just finishing up it.
It's something, if we're going to change it, we really need to figure that out before we put that retaining wall in, because the sleeves or the way they mount different types of fencing could change. So I'd want to know that before we get too far down the road of putting the wall in. But other than that, it has no effect on the trail. It's just getting the retaining wall in.
Yep, that's right.
There is a concern that was expressed about the box culvert extension and when that might be available. Again, with COVID, a lot of those things have been pushed back. Contractor's optimistic, but that's the only other scary part of the project. It's a pretty straightforward project other than that.
Yep, yeah.
Could he just pour another one onto that one?
Well, the design is for him to bring in a precast
Right.
structure, and what he indicated to us is that that would be available around October 2nd. So he has enough work to get him from September 8th or 9th to that October 2nd date. And then they can set the box culvert end, the precast section. The best installation is a precast. It would obviously be a lot quicker because they would have less time to have to wait for the concrete to cure, and they'd have to pour that cast in place end section in pieces.
Right.
So, as Al said, we're optimistic that he can get that on October 2nd. But we'll keep on top of it and see how it goes. So, any other questions? Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Council, do any of you have anything to bring up tonight?
I do have a invitation to anybody who would like to attend. The Upper Wapsie Watershed Authority is having a meeting in Hazelton on Fontana Park at the Learning Center there. And I'll send an email out to you guys letting you know what the details are on it. But if you'd like to attend, it'd give you an idea on what some of the projects are that the Upper Wapsie's working on, and keep you up to date on what's going on, if you'd like to attend.
I appreciate you being our representative from the council and stuff to do that for Independence. Been a lot of work.
I think it's the 22nd, but I'll double check my notes and get that emailed out. I think it's
you're-
Tuesday.
I'll look
Sounds
it up
right.
here as we're looking.
Okay.
The date doesn't sound right, but it is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I do have a couple of items for the council I want to make you aware of. Maggie Berger contacted us in the annual Spear golf outing is in September. I believe that's on the, I'll get the dates for you. They invite their clients to come together on September 2nd. They do charge for the outing because of the gift law. They are not able to do it for free, but everything that they collect on that is donated to an Iowa charity. So it is, in essence, a charity outing. And they would love to have anybody who has an interest. Starts at 11 o'clock in Waterloo at the Red Carpet Golf Club.
I did that 2 years ago. It's fun.
Low stress.
Yes.
The Wapsie, the Upper Wapsie is August 24th at 1:30 at Fontana, yes. That's all I have.
Anything else? Okay, our next area is a closed session. I need to start by verifying with the city attorney the ability to legally enter into a closed session for the record.
I'm aware of the matter, and it would be appropriate to go into closed session under Iowa Code Section 21.51C.
Thank you. So I will need a motion to enter into closed session per the code she just quoted to discuss strategy with counsel in a matter that is presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent.
So moved. Second.
I do have a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please.
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes?
Callahan.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Sorry to scoot you guys all out, but nobody's allowed to be here now. And we will not